Alright everyone, so today on Texas Honda Channel I am going to be doing a wire tuck. Now there is a lot of ways to do wire tucks on these Civics. The most common one is to remove the fuse box, run it under the dash, and these ones over here to run through the grommet on the firewall. Now I'm doing a very simple wire tuck but very effective. It looks really clean. This, as you know, is not a show car, it's going to be the track car. But I still want it to look clean, want it to be really nice. So with the fenders off, you'll see right here, there's a little hole. If you look in that hole, with light of course, on the other side of this, there's a piece of plastic, a little circle grommet. We can knock that out, run this wiring through there, which you can depin these to do it the solderless method, but the way I like to do it is the faster method, and it works just as good. So I'll show you how to do that in detail, and I will show you how to do it on the driver's side as well, showing you the method that looks clean and gets rid of all of this crap right here. So I'll show you how to do that. I'm running low on daylight. It should be dark here soon, so I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. Alright, you will need a 10mm, a pair of dikes or wire cutters, some electrical tape, Harbor Freight works really well, and some solder with resin in it. I got that from O'Reilly's for really cheap. You will remove this fuse box and then we'll go from there. There is a method you can do where you unplug the bottom of this box and you feed it all through this grommet, undoing all the electrical tape and the harness loom, and then you can hide that under the dash, run it through the side where the fender is. That is a little bit longer of a method, and I'm working on limited time, so I'm going to show you the method that works the easiest for me, which is essentially cutting this off right here and soldering and electrical taping the connections, which will run it through there and out to the side of the passenger side fender on the outside. So I'm going to show you how exactly I do that. Now it's pretty simple. We've got the connector here. The colors will match back up to the same exact colors. So I like to cut it off about that far, about an inch or so from the connector. That way I still have plenty of wiring if I screw it up on this side. So I basically just snip it like that. And then I like to take this loom off right here, and I'll trim this up just a little bit as well. Alright, now right here is the grommet I was talking about. You can basically just take a Phillips head screwdriver and something, and just pop it right through like that. Now that you've got it through like that, you'll take these wires, put them back in the loom. Alright, now you'll take your electrical tape and you will wrap the end of the loom up a little bit here. Now we can feed this loom through this hole. Now if you've done that, we'll go ahead and put this back over the spot. Alright, now that we've got it this far, we'll take these wire strippers, which I'll put a link in the description. You can get them off eBay pretty cheap. Now you'll color match each wire from the connector to the wiring, which is pretty simple, red to red, white to white, and so on. Alright, now we're going to solder each one of these. Alright, now at this point, most people like to have the heat shrink on before they do this. I don't have any heat shrink, and I don't have any money to go buy any. So we're going to electrical tape each individual wire, and then we're going to electrical tape the entire bundle of wires together. And this is the end result of how it should look. Now, The other method that I was talking about, you would come through this hole right here. You'd make a hole in the grommet, and then they just come out up and over this section. This section right here, since it has the loom, it'll be protected against this piece. You can put an optional grommet here. Like I said, I don't have any money to go buy any, or I'd just go get one. But I've never had issues of it chafing or running through here, so we're good on that. So basically, now we'll have it up to here, where we can put some zip ties to hold it in place. Really simple. Then we'll have the other half that goes from here to the rest of the car. Basically, the connector will just connect into right here. Now, this isn't required, but I like to do it anyways. I like to electrical tape this connection up. That way there's no water that gets in the connector, so you don't ever have issues from it being in the fender well if you're dailying it. Which this won't be daily driven, but I will be driving it sometimes, and if it rains, I don't want to have to take that chance of water getting in the connector and causing issues. We'll put it over here, and this will hold up the wiring. Now if you want to, you can drill another hole right here, and then you can run another zip tie through here, but this right here has been perfectly fine for me, and cars 4 or 5 years down the road still are perfectly fine. So it's up to you. Alright guys, so right here I am re-taping up the harness because I did have to pull the wires for the headlights out just a little bit. And this piece right here is the radiator fan. It doesn't necessarily need pulled out any farther. It should reach the radiator perfectly fine. So we're going to put this where the radiator goes. You can pull it through here and under the headlight, and it's right here where the radiator goes. So you can basically tuck these wires right up under the headlight. Now this one here is pretty self-explanatory. It goes right to the horn. And on these other ones, you can still use the factory connector clips, push them in places, or you can zip tie them up out of the way. Zip ties are honestly the best option. As for this connector right here, if you ever plan on running AC again, or if you are running AC with the tuck, this right here will go to the AC. But since we're not, I'm basically just going to electrical tape it to the rest of the loom and get it out of the way. Alright, as you can see, I had to pull the wires out just a little bit more to get more reach out of them, but now I can definitely fit it under here. Alright, so you'll need to loosen up the headlight a little bit. Now that we've got it extended out of the harness just a little bit farther, we can run it up under the headlight and plug it in. Alright, right here, these are the ones that we will be cutting and resoldering back together, running through the hole. This one here will be left in the engine bay, tucked down out of the way where you can't see it. This one will be for the engine harness itself. These two right here go to the brakes, so this will be also separated from this entire loom. So I'll get started doing that and show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright, this is the engine bay one that'll run to the actual engine. These ones here run to the wiper motor, which we can tuck all of this in a more in-depth tuck job, but I'm just showing you a simpler job. I know I've repeated it a few times, but there's some people who like skip around the video and ask, why did he do it this way? This is just the way I'm doing it on this. I've done it many different routes though. So now we've got these here, which is really great. That's what we need. We're gonna take these, chop these connectors off. You can depin them if you're brave enough to. I suck at depinning, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna chop them off and resolder them back together, doing one connector harness at a time. So I'm gonna take this piece right here off, and then we'll get started. Alright, as you can see right here, it's set up the exact same as the other side. So we're basically going to just take something and punch it out. Now you can just use the solder iron and shove it through there, make the hole bigger. Alright, now we're gonna cut the connector right here. We're gonna bunch these wires together by twisting them. We'll shove it through the hole. Alright, now that you have it through the hole, you're basically going to want to take the connector, connect everything color by color just like we did on the passenger side, solder the connections, and do the same to the other connector. Once you get that done, we'll go from there. Alright, as you can see, this is the finished product. The wire for the headlights run right there. There will be the wiring back here where the ECU harness will connect to. That's about the extent of the wires you'll see on this side. And then your battery, which this will have the battery up front. The wires will be right there for that. You can go more in depth and do a deeper tuck, which, you know, some people like. I prefer this. It's more than functional and it looks really good. You don't have the wires draping over the strut towers and stuff like that. Now this is what it looks like with the bumper off. You'll see the wire harness up front. You have the passenger side, runs like this. I'll zip tie this up a little bit higher, but you can basically just drill another hole and run a zip tie through that. As for the ground, I grounded it right under the headlight. There's a perfect bolt hole for it. Just make sure there's some exposed metal behind it so it gets a good connection. As for the wiring on the driver's side, I went with the ground right there in front of the wheel and tire. Make sure there's exposed metal behind it so it gets a good connection. Now with the bumper back on, it'll look really good. You won't see any of those wires, plus there'll be a radiator in the way. We can get this one to go up a little bit higher with some zip ties, but overall it's pretty good for a 45-minute wire tuck. So definitely explore your options when you go to wire tuck. If you guys are keeping your battery up front like I am, this is a perfect wire tuck. You've got to cut and solder, which sucks, but at the same time, it's not very hard. Just match the colors up like you're doing a stereo. But we will be getting the engine soon, hopefully, knock on wood. So that'll be cool, and then we'll be able to move this thing after we get a wheel hub. Our next main goal is to get the wheel bearing and hub. Obviously some fenders. I think I'm just gonna not worry about body work too much since it is gonna be a race car. Some dents will be fine. I don't care really. Like I said, it's not a show car, so I think we're gonna just, you know, fix what we can without replacing all the doors, because these are crank window doors. I kind of like that they're crank window, very convenient and lightweight. But we're just gonna sand it all down and paint it yellow soon. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. Might fix the bodywork later on down the road. This white's killing me. But yeah, that's basically it for the video on wire tucking. If anyone is interested in merchandise for Texas Honda Channel, such as t-shirts or stickers, email me at texashondachannel@gmail.com. I wanted to thank everyone who put orders in and received their stickers. Thanks so much, because it really helps me be able to put out more content and do things like this. So definitely stay tuned. The swap we're going to be putting in is going to be an awesome one. One I've never done, so definitely be staying tuned to the channel, guys. Hit the subscribe button, turn the bell on to get notified of every upload, and drop a comment and like this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.